All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, SHIPIT Nation YouTube station? Back with a Sunday Night Football breakdown with my guy Ham here. We got Biz Ham in the building with the collar shirt, drinking I don't know, some little red drink over there, a little Mountain Dew Code Red or something looking like that over there with the nice stash going on. I mean, hide them from your kids, but hey, nonetheless, bring you in, man. Ham, how's your weekend going on? Happy Sunday, brother, and looking forward to breaking down this pretty good game overall here. We got Mr. Nico Collins expected to be back here. Little Detroit and Houston action here tonight. So what's up, brother?
Yeah, what's going on, man? Yeah, great weekend. Looking forward to breaking this one down. Nico coming back. Tank Dell popped up on the injury report Friday, but it looks like he's going to go. Hope and G. Rosin, they're just over there, just in heaven, right? The Lions, nobody can beat them. They go into Lambeau and just wipe the field with all those Packers. And so, yeah, Lions. Texans kind of regressed, especially in the offensive line, but they get their big piece back. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to breaking it down.
Yeah, looking forward to breaking it down here. Obviously, Detroit, right? Everyone, oh my God, Detroit slobbing on them, right? They're going to win the Super Bowl. They're the greatest team in the history of the NFL and blah, 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 and all this. So we'll see how that cracks up. I mean, they did the same thing last year, kind of came into Lambeau, beat up on the Packers, and then we absolutely ramrodded it right down their rear end on Thanksgiving in Detroit there. So we'll see how that works out. But in terms of this game, 49-point total here, 3.5-point spread. Texans are 3.5-point dogs at home here. And like I said, the big news right now is Nico Collins hasn't played in 5 weeks since week 5, right, with that hamstring. They did activate him off the IR. And he is projected to play here tonight. And that's obviously definitely an important piece because you look at our old report card grades over here, Ham, on the Stone that we got. And, man, Detroit is not good versus wide receivers, right? Their defense gets kind of shredded through the air and should have 2 good ones here with Tank Dell. Obviously, Tank Dell is going to be somewhat limited, right? Popping up on the injury report late Friday. Usually not a very good sign, but I'm sure he will do everything he can to kind of play here. Obviously with the late night game Sunday night here, should be good to go. But with Nico Collins coming back, should be a pretty good spot. So let's jump right in and talk captains here. You got Amon-Ra all the way up at 16.5. Both these teams, you kind of want to target both these teams through the air, through the wide receiver position. So I love the wide receivers here, but from a captain's perspective, you got Amon-Ra, Joe Mixon, Nico Collins, which is $1,500 cheaper than Amon-Ra. And if everybody remembers him, Nico Collins was wide receiver 1 in this league before he went out with that hamstring. Absolutely just shredded with C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud was way better with Nico Collins in there. And now it's a pass defense here, which you can definitely shred through the air. Detroit's ranked 31st in the NFL against opposing wide receivers here. So interesting point there. And then obviously the quarterback's down at 14.7, 14.4. And then I wanted to talk to you about Jahmyr Gibbs because we know what Jahmyr Gibbs is, explosive. It does suck that they split the carries basically pretty much down the middle there in Detroit. But Jahmyr Gibbs definitely has that home run play upside. All it takes is 1, 2, 3 carries for him sometimes to get there, break off a 70-yarder. He's down at 13.8, which is a pretty nice price point right there by Tank Dell. So from the captain position, I mean, it seems to me like it's Tank Dell and up 13.2 or higher for the most part, unless you're jumping down to a JMO who's coming back off that suspension, a Laporta or a Schultz. But where are you looking at the captain position here?
Yeah, for me, it's going to be the big boys tonight. I think up top, the usual suspects. Amon-Ra's in a great spot. Nico Collins, like you said, one of the best wide receivers, pulled his hamstring while scoring a touchdown on a bomb from Stroud. You said it. He's been very good. Amon-Ra and Collins would be my top 2. My next favorite would be Sam Laporta. I just can't quit on this guy. 9.3, He's going to have a breakout game at some point. The Lions, I mean, Hoop says it every week on the show, on the main slate. It's like they get a lead and just want to shut it down with Gibbs and Montgomery. If they can get behind, you're building that game script. I think Sam Laporta, they should get peppered with targets. Like Sam Laporta, for me with Gibbs and or Montgomery, it's just tough, the efficiency, right? I mean, they're getting 15 or less touches between the two of them. They're both dynamite backs. It's just they're splitting those 30-plus touches. So it's tough for me to get them in the captain. We're not talking flex, but don't mind them in the flex. But it would be those three, Amon-Ra, Nico in the return, and then Laporta as kind of a dark horse. You're a big tight end guy in Showdown, so give me some Laporta tonight. In Houston, no less, the home of it all. So, yeah, give me some Laporta tonight.
Yeah, I like that take a little bit there. I got probably a little bit different take on the running backs when we get there. I do think probably – so here's how my captain looks. My captain goes, I'm going Nico Collins number one. I just think if he's coming back, he's got to be pretty close to 100%, right? I mean, he's been out for quite some time now. For them to activate, I mean, they're still 6-3. It's not like they need him right now, this moment. So with them activating him and bringing him back likely, you have to assume he's damn near 100%. So I love him. He's my favorite captain. I actually put Jameson Williams ahead of Amon-Ra. The reason being his price, but not only that, you got to think J-Mo is a little pissed off for being a donkey, right? Gets suspended 2 games there. Detroit's offense kind of scuffled a little bit. If you think back, yeah, they had the game where they put up 50 points, but majority of that came from what? The defense, the kick returns. And then last week in Lambeau, I mean, the Packers held the offense to their lowest amount of points all season long, right? They scored 17 offensive points. J-Mo missed both of those games, right? He's their explosive guy. I think that also helps Amon-Ra, and J-Mo's there, and they have to kind of put that safety over the top, know that J-Mo can beat him down the sideline. I love him here tonight. I think he's going to be hungry. I think Detroit's going to put the league on notice and let them know, hey, don't worry, we still have Jameson Williams, right? And he can still burn you down the sideline for 70 yards in the TD. It obviously comes down to if Jared Goff can make the throw and get him the ball. But I like J-Mo a ton here tonight at 10-2. So he's probably my second favorite captain behind Nico Collins. Then Amon-Ra would be third. And I do like some of those tight ends down there. Those would probably be my next guys in line. I'm just under on the running backs in this game. These teams are both top 5 in the league against opposing running backs here. I get it. Joe Mixon's been incredible. But I just think Nico coming back, that hurts Joe Mixon a little bit. Mixon kind of really took off, right, when we saw Nico go out. So I'm under on the running backs. For me, it's pass catchers up top. It's wide receivers that I mentioned, and then I would drop down to Laporta at 9-3 or Dalton Schultz as kind of my 4th and 5th captains there. Let's jump over to the flex here, Ham. We'll kind of go. Let's start with the kickers and D like we always do, and then we'll jump to the position by position. So kickers and defenses here tonight. We got Jake Bates, Fairbairn, and then we got the Lions and Texans D, 3,600, 4K. Kickers at 5K and 5,200 here. Sandwiched between them, you got some wide receivers there from the Texans side. But what's your take on the kickers and defenses here? Fairbairn, been a beast. 5,200 at home. They should be able to move the ball, right? Like I said, Detroit's pass defense is pretty woeful. But then you get down there and you can definitely see some of that edge rush get there and could definitely settle for some field goals. But what's your take on that? Are we back on the kickers after a couple showdown slates where kickers weren't needed? Are we back on them? Any defense takes? What's your takes in that range?
Yeah, I don't mind either defense. I mean, these defenses, they're going to give up some points, but also think that they have big playability, right? Lions got a pick 6 last week. Will Anderson been battling injuries. If he's in, he can rush the passer and get some sacks. So don't hate this. You got Darryl Stingley, got the pretty good secondary for the Texans. Don't hate the defenses. Definitely wouldn't put them in captain. I don't think they're captain plays, but at those price points, I think they're squarely in play once you start building your teams. I don't think I would go – I think it's going to be a higher scoring game, so I don't think I would play both defenses. It would be one or the other, depending on how you're going to build it out. And then these kickers, yeah, in a dome, good weather. We think they're going to move the ball up and down the field. Do they stall out once they get inside the red zone or, close to the red zone? Bates and Fairbairn, both good kickers. I side with Bates just a little bit more just because I think he's a very good kicker, and he's $200 cheaper. So if you need that money, don't hate that. But yeah, certainly in play. My favorite of the bunch would be Bates. And then and then the Lions, I prefer the Lions defense over the Texans, even without Hutchinson. I think they can still get the job done.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown there. I'm on Team Fairbairn over Bates. The reason being is I just think the Detroit offense is a little bit more solidified in the red zone. With obviously you got Montgomery, you got Gibbs, then you got all the playmakers there. I just think the Texans have a better chance or a higher probability to stall out, which leads to more Fairbairn. Fairbairn's also been absolutely, insane. 16, 12, 12, 11, 9 are his last 5 weeks, all in games where they've been close. Some of those have been high scoring, right? They scored 41 points against the Patriots. He still scored 12 points. Even in a low scoring game last week in the Jets, right? He still scored 9 points, and the offense only scored 13 total. So I just love Fairbairn. He's got a great leg. I think he's one of the best flex plays on the slate, because I think Detroit is definitely going to score more touchdowns and have a higher probability, like I said, in the red zone here tonight, I think. So I like him a ton. Let's jump over and kick it back to the quarterback position here in the flex. CJ Stroud kind of projecting to be about 40 to 50% owned, I would say, in the flex here. Jared Goff underweight on that. Neither one of these quarterbacks, Jared Goff hasn't cracked 20 fantasy points the last 3 weeks. CJ Stroud hasn't cracked 20 fantasy points the last 5 weeks. Do you have any takes on those? Are you going to be kind of more exposed to them here tonight in kind of a higher total game? Getting some pieces back, right? CJ Stroud's getting his main piece back. Jared Goff's getting Jameson Williams back. In a dome, what's your takes on the quarterbacks here who have kind of underwhelmed as of late?
Yeah, I mean, it's no coincidence that when Jerry Rice 2.0 goes out, aka Nico Collins, CJ Stroud's numbers go down. I think CJ Stroud's numbers rocket back up tonight. Everything I look at, from gambling to DFS, CJ Stroud poised to have a big night. I think he is too. Calvin Ridley went for $150 against this secondary in a dome. I think Nico Collins and CJ Stroud both blow up today. I like CJ Stroud. Prefer him over Goff. I mean, Goff is very efficient, but they don't want to throw it. They don't want to get into a shootout via the air, I don't think. So I prefer Stroud over Goff in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I don't mind it. Like I said, I mean, both of these quarterbacks have only cracked 20 fantasy points twice all season long. So you could see a spot where you could be a little bit underweight, or you could take the other flip side and the entire field could see that. That's what kind of projected ownership showing. Obviously, it's 8 a.m. here on Sunday, so ownership is kind of just a spitball number right now. Obviously, it'll improve the closer we get to lock, but both of them seem to be kind of under-owned compared to what we normally see quarterbacks in the flex. But yeah, I definitely like CJ Stroud more than Jared Goff here. I just think Detroit can do it so much more. And obviously, Hoop talks about it all the time, right? Detroit does get up in this game. They're very, very, very easily able to just rely on Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, chew that clock, and just sit on a lead, right? 7-point, 10-point lead. They're happy to just sit on that and just kind of bleed that clock out there. So let's jump over to the running back position, and definitely an important position here. You got Joe Mixon at 10-8. He's been incredible, but again, like I said, both these defenses very, very good against the run. Jahmyr Gibbs at 9,200, and then David Montgomery at 8,200. What's your take on these three running backs here? You do have to pay a price for them, and you're going to have to sacrifice some of these other wide receivers that can volume their way there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in 3 max. I'm fading these running backs. I love them all. Right? They're obviously Mixon's having a resurgence. He can do it all. But you said it. They're better against the run than the pass, and I'm going to pick my poison. I'm going to pick the pass catchers. Now, like you said, Dell and Collins both questionable. If one of those guys were to sit, then yeah, I like Mixon a little more as opposed to the Hutchinsons, the Bobby Trees of the world. But as it stands now with both those receivers in, I'm not going to get the Mixon. I'd rather have the pass catchers. Same thing with the running backs on the Lions. It's just tough. If I knew one of them was going to get 20-plus opportunities, then yeah, maybe. But in this scenario, I'm going to pass Nate on these running backs. In a 3 max, obviously, if you're getting 10, I don't hate it. But yeah, single entry to 3 max for me, it's no running backs.
Yeah, I agree with you. If I were to pick one running back, it'd be Jahmyr Gibbs just for that home run play upside. I have no interest in Joe Mixon. I mean, Joe Mixon $1,000 more than CJ Stroud when they're 3.5-point dogs here in a game where CJ Stroud's getting his best his shower buddy back, right? And Nico Collins. I just think it's a great spot to jump off of Mixon, who is going to pick up a ton of ownership, right? Anybody clicks that game log and sees Mixon hasn't scored under 20-some fantasy points in 5 weeks, right, or 6 weeks. He's a pretty easy click, right? So I'm under on him. Probably going to be super underweight on Mixon for sure. David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs is tough. It's just they split snaps so much, right, and carries. Jahmyr Gibbs, $1,000 more than Montgomery. I think that keeps his ownership in check compared to Montgomery. So if I were to choose one running back, I'd go there. But overall, I'm definitely underweight like you on these running backs. I'm just going to play the pass catchers, the kickers, kind of in this spot. Let's jump in over and talk. Obviously, we like both these tight ends quite a bit. Laporta at 6,200, 5,600 for Dalton Schultz. I like those price points a lot. Dalton Schultz at $400 more and $600 more than these kickers. I think is a great spot there. I know our guy Hoop loves himself some Dalton Schultz there. So obviously we're pretty aligned on those tight ends. But let's jump down and talk the value plays on the slate. Under the Texans D, right? You got Robert Woods, you got Derek Ngumbawale, right? Who can definitely get there on the third down work, right? Kind of the trailing game script. What's your take on any of these value guys? You got obviously Mechie down there, Robert Woods, you got Cade Stover, and then on the Lions side, you got Mr. Little Khalif Raymond, who can always be a threat to take a kick return to the house, and then little Timmy Patrick, right? Hoops boy, little Timmy Patrick getting 70+% of the snaps here. Obviously, that's probably going to go down some with Jameson Williams being back in this game, but the last 4 weeks, he's seen over 70% snap share. What's your take on these value tiers down here?
I feel like every week we talk about it. It's just tough to find, good plays down here. For me, it's going to be a Texans wide receiver when I get down here. Reason being is they have Dell, they have Collins, and after that they don't have much. My favorite of the bunch, and he's not really cheap, is Xavier Hutchinson. He plays every snap. They don't throw it to him often, but I think he does have ability to get open. He's going to be out there a ton in 3 wide receiver sets. I like him over Woods and Mechie. Interested to hear your take on that. I know, the last time they played was a Thursday night and against the Jets, I think 2 weeks ago, and I think Woods was on the optimal and those other two didn't do much. But Hutchinson's my favorite down there, and I really don't like anybody on the Lions with J-Mo coming back. I mean, that kind of limits Raymond, kind of limits Allen Robinson. And then Timmy Patrick, I guess, if I had to, but I probably won't get to any of those low-end wide receivers.
Yeah, I'll start on the Houston side. I do think Xavier Hutch is the best play. You do have to pay a little bit more for him, but I do think he's going to keep his snaps even with these other guys coming back. Robert Woods would be the guy I have no interest in. I mean, he only saw last week. He only saw 49% of the snaps with all of those guys out. Now, obviously, you could see something right where Tank Dell is kind of limited, but with Nico Collins coming back, I really have no interest in Robert Woods. John Mechie, I have a little bit of interest in. We just know what this dude was, right in college. Has a home run play potential here. All it takes is one play for him to get there. So I have a little bit of interest in him. But the value overall is pretty weak on the slate. I mean, Mechie 2,600, I like him. Tim Patrick at 2,400. Under that, I mean, you're getting pretty gross with guys like Brock Wright, Cade Stover, who can definitely get there. I mean, these backup tight ends seem to get there every showdown slate, right? But we just saw it. I mean, we just saw it in the Baltimore showdown, right? Our guy, right, Mark Andrews dusted the field, and everybody wanted to. Everybody wanted to play the other guy in there, right? The $600 backup tight end, and what do you get? One catch for 11 yards. Yeah, one catch for 11 yards. Some people were playing him at 60, 70, 80% of their lineups. Obviously, that's a different slate, but people want to make these backup tight ends work quite a bit. I don't think they're the craziest plays at 1,600, but at 2K, you are kind of paying for them a little bit though here on this slate, Ham. They're not 600, they're not $1,000. I mean, they're 2K and 2,600. So overall, I think we agree value's pretty weak on the slate. I want to kind of round out my teams with like the kickers for the most part, or like a Xavier Hutchinson, Dalton Schultz, something like that. Potentially these defenses, I'm just usually underweight on these defenses. If I had to punt down here, it'd probably be, like I said, Mechie or Tim Patrick. That's realistically, but I really don't want a lot of my teams kind of rounding out with them. So I think that brings us back to the captain position and gets us more on some of these like Jameson Williams, Laporta's, Dalton Schultz type captains, right, where we don't have to go down to this lower range. We can get those studs in the flex. Even like a Fairbairn captain at 7,800, right? Just get you on a different roster construction. You can avoid this cheap tier altogether, and you can definitely see a spot where could be a mid tier, right? If Amon-Ra smashes, Nico Collins smashes, some of these running backs get there, and the quarterbacks obviously get there, then a 15 to 20 spot from Fairbairn in the captain spot can definitely be the winner. So I think I take myself back a little bit on some of these value captains just to avoid this lower tier. But any final thoughts for the people before we get on here? I think we broke it down pretty good.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown. Yeah, and no, nothing else. Good luck tonight. 300K up top. Hopefully it's somebody in the nation that takes it home.
Yeah, hopefully one of us takes it home. If it's not one of us, hopefully it's one of the members here over at SHIPIT Nation. If you guys could hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on the way out, drop a comment down in the chat. And if you're not a member yet, use that promo code NBA15, last chance to get locked in, 15% off any membership plan. That's going to do it though for this breakdown here. Thanks everyone for watching. For Hammuch, I'm Nadesify. Good luck tonight in this contest. Hope to see you at the top. Let's ship it.